Welcome back. I'm Alfred Lamont-Weber, and we have the great privilege today, once again, in part two, to be with filmmaker and author coming to us, I believe, from Boulder, Colorado, Patty Greer. Welcome, Patty.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here again. Really a treat. And I don't think your audience realizes that you have more reach by far than any coast-to-coast show I have ever done. So you, Alfred, really have a powerful audience that loves you.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I mean, they listen here because they get the truth from you. So it's a mutual thing. And, you know, I was so moved by our part one and the discoveries that you come across. I mean, they really expanded my, and I'm sure many of the viewers and others at the conferences that you've been presenting. It's really a breakthrough discovery that you've been able to bring your research, but William Levengood and Penny Kelly's work out. And so what I'd like to do is just kind of summarize that at the beginning, because in this segment, we're going to not only bring out new information, but go more deeply into this, because this discovery breaks wide open what the intelligence agencies, and I know we've been covering their tricks in the UK to cover up all the crop circles, to try and use satellites to draw over them, to you know, all sorts of disinformation, all the rumors that have been going on, people trying to, you know, and it's really you and William Levengood and Penny Kelly and Mother Earth is the term that we've been using that have brought forth this truth. And so here in part two, for the viewing audience, I'm going to summarize. Here's the headline that we were able to bring through. Filmmaker Patty Greer discloses key secret in her new film Crop Circle Diaries, : here's the secret. Mother Earth is the crop circle maker, along with a whole dimensional ecology of actors, including humans. And this key secret is disclosed in her new film, The Crop Circle Diaries. And Crop Circle Diaries is a film that brings to life the long hidden crop circle research of William Levengood, PhD, ABD, and Penny Kelly, demonstrating that Earth-based energies in leyline areas in synergy with intentional human or interdimensional energies are the source of crop circles. And so this has many, many implications, from agriculture to density ascension. And because on the agricultural area, seeds planted, the research shows that seeds planted in crop circles yield 40% more food and 70% more nutrition, which is remarkable. and so there's a real multiplier effect and enrichment effect here from the earth and its processes. And the crop circle phenomenon can be technologized as well. And this is the exciting part with unity consciousness and with what we can call cosmic love, and provide a beautiful and bountiful, what we can call fourth and fifth density Earth. And that's what the third density Earth is moving toward. It's moving out of this duality consciousness, I win, you lose, which is conflict ridden. All we have to do is open up a newspaper and it drips of I win, you lose. The whole journalistic trade now just reports who's ahead and who's losing, either wars or catastrophes or politics or whatever. And so that's where we're up to. So, Patty, there's a lot to report. And so I'm going to turn it over to you now to really bring us not only up to date, but to the deeper depths, because so much has come out of Mother Earth and out of fourth density and sort of revealed itself out of third density, kind of third density is being exposed. And so what should we call this? The density report. I don't know.
The multi-density, yes.
The multi-density exposure report or something.
That's a good one.
Over to you.
Thank you, Captain. Well, hi, matey. This has been quite the journey. And I think the most fascinating thing for me as a woman who came into the field completely innocent, I was just trying to heal from mercury poisoning. I didn't study any of the misinformation available so vastly to the public for the last 30 years. And I wasn't confused when I got there. I laid in a crop circle, and right when I walked in, I knew that they were real. I mean, the hair stood up on my arms. I had goosebumps head to toe. I was chilled and I was so excited. But it wasn't just an emotional response. It was definitely multi-layered. Every ounce of my being was lit up like a blowtorch. And so I was like, I think I'm imagining this. So I literally stepped backward 4 or 5 feet. And I couldn't feel it. And then I stepped back in. And I wasn't even at the formation. I was in this umbrella before you get there that goes, outside the outer circumference. So it is really, it's a high electromagnetic frequency that anybody with an ounce of sensitivity can feel. And I remember my first crop circle, I took my daughter, she was kind of, hip and cool. And I remember when the hair went up on my arms the first time, I was stunned. And I turned around and looked at her and she said, "Yeah, Mom, I feel it." So really, it's very palpable. It's very noticeable that you are somewhere that is multidimensional rather than just walking into a farm field with a bunch of flattened wheat. So my curiosity was piqued, and I came back the next 2 summers for 9 weeks, spent a fortune, didn't have any idea what I was doing. And during the course of those 2 years, I, without training or intention, made 4 full-feature films, won 6 prestigious awards quickly, International UFO Congress Convention. I didn't know anyone. I took Best Film 2 years in a row. And immediately was introduced to all these distributors. I picked the 3 worst on the planet. And so I've gone through quite the dance with learning what not to do in the film world, distributors in America. But short of that, it has been the most incredible dance with spirit, because crop circles are filled with magic and wonder. Not just looking at the pictures, but stepping into them is a joy. Absolute joy.
Now you've prepared a sort of a brief PowerPoint with some key images. You tell me when we should start sharing some of those images on the screen. It'll mean that you and I would go to the side of the screen, but you kind of give me a cue and we can shift over to that. Not that we have to do that now, but
no, let's do it, because the first one is beautiful. It's a
okay.
picture of being in a crop circle.
Oh, good. So give me just a little time here, and I've got to do my little share screen here, and then I've got to go here. And I've got to press the share screen button. And then I've got to start the slideshow.
Beautiful.
And there we go. Okay, Patty Greer. Oh, today's the International Day of Peace.
Happy Peace Day. Let's go to number 2.
Number 2. Okay, there we are.
So there it is, a beautiful crop circle. This one was a bit messy, but you can see.
Let me just see something. Let me just double check something, okay? Okay, fine. Let me just go back again. Sorry about that. I just wanted to double check something. I'll go back.
You are my.
There we go. Okay. I don't know why I came back up double there. Oh, okay. That was just a glitch. I'm sorry for interrupting you. That was a technical quality control. I will not do that again, but I just wanted to make doubly sure that we were on target here. Okay, go right ahead.
Well, this was an incredible, typical day in a man-made crop circle. Unfortunately, it was man-made because I took Sasha Stone in. And he's the leader of the New Earth Nation, the International Tribunal Justice, the new law system that's going to be taking down a lot of our cabal problems. And I took him into his first crop circle ever, had a film crew, and I was super excited till I got in and I looked at my arm and I went, oh my God, I feel nothing, no hair standing up on my arms. I was kind of disappointed, but the pattern was so incredible. So we get to the back, we set up the cameras, and I see this group of girls. Go to the end of the PowerPoint because I'm kind of popping ahead, but it's very important to me. The 11, fly through them.
I'm just kind of going through here.
There.
Whoops.
Okay.
There we go. So I have
11.
11. Hold on just a second. I've got to play from current slide. So is that it?
Go backward 1.
Backward 1. Is that it?
Oh, yes. So
Okay.
I'm in this crop circle with Sasha Stone, and I don't feel anything, but the formation was so incredible to look at. And so Sasha and I on camera both said, it kind of feels human-made, but it sure is incredible. I see these 3 girls, but there was actually a total of 5. And I said to them, do you ladies have any thoughts about this formation? And they said, heck, yeah, we do. So I asked, who are you? What do you do? When we turned the camera on them, and they said, we are the free energy group, the quantum energy generator team. We're the family. Yesterday, we were sitting in the Avebury Stone Circle in Wiltshire, like 3 hours away from this crop circle. We were praying for some kind of message from Spirit that this was a real crop circle. And here we are the next day in this crop circle that felt human-made, but go to the next frame.
There, that one?
So there is their free energy device. They're sitting there asking for a confirmation from Spirit that this energy device is going to work, and there they are in the crop circle. I met them the next day.
Now what crop circle is that below that free energy device?
It's the 2014 in Dorset, England, Dorcet.
Yeah, but is that the one that they were praying on or the one they created?
They created that with their thoughts because it happened the next day.
They created that one with all of that design on it?
What I'm saying is they were meditating the day before in a sacred site, and the following day it appears that humans went in and made that crop circle at night. Now those humans most likely were thinking, oh, I'm so clever, not even admitting that last night I had a dream. I did the sketch today, and now we're going to go make it in the field. I think that's how it happened, because those people were asking, and to me, that is some similarity there. And I have in Crop Circle Diaries a collection of stories like this, 3 of them actually, a free energy device and its crop circle. The Cyril effect.
Okay, now, Patty, let me just slow you down a bit, because you're a person that works closely with crop circles, so you're familiar with all of this. And there are many of us that are love crop circles and are perhaps not as familiar with crop circles. And I'm kind of one of those people. And I look at a crop circle of this complexity, and I ask you as an expert or a person who spends a lot of their time thinking about this, gee, that looks too complex for people on the ground to make it. If you told me that, oh, maybe a satellite made it, a military satellite, I would say, okay, yeah, that kind of looks like a military satellite made it. But I don't think that you can round up a bunch of adults in England to get together to make that. What's your response to that question?
Well, when they're divinely guided, amazing things happen. And
Okay.
I think that's what's going on here. And you mentioned it earlier that the earth is speaking to all of us. ETs,
Okay.
humans, everything out in the atmosphere, multidimensional, the waters, the air, anything with a pulse. The earth is speaking. Many of us join the earth when we sit in a meditation and say, tell me something, give me a gift. We're all asking you, spirit, earth, mother, God, call it what you want, name it what you will. But it's basically you are speaking to source, which is probably us anyway, now, future, past. And we're asking for a confirmation. We're asking for that umbilical cord to spirit. Let me know you are hearing me. Bang! Crop circle the next day. It's happened so many times with real devotees. People that are asking from their core, not shallow, yeah, let's drink some liquor and go ask for a crop circle, hee. Really, I mean, some people do it with alcohol too, but it's a matter of frequency. Everything is frequency. And so when we speak to spirit, spirit hears us. When we ask them to work with us, spirit hears us. And when we realize that almost all crop circles are coming out of the earth over an aquifer of water, we realize that water is definitely a part of this communication process. So we've got the earth, and I don't mean entities in the earth or beings in the earth. I mean the mother, the earth, the living being that we grow hair, she grows trees and plants. The living earth that keeps growing things and tolerating our bad behavior. So she's been asking us for hundreds of years, please stop acting badly. And I think she's doing it through crop circles. So she listens to humanity, and every now and then a group of people get together and create an intention worthy of her attention. Bang, she lays down a crop circle. Now, periodically, the Syrians or the Andromedans or some other species is flying over and they need a star map. Oh, which way, So they'll throw down a star map. The ETs will ask the mother which way, and she'll throw them a star map coming out of the earth as a crop circle. And we have seen, especially the one at Stonehenge, broad daylight, middle of the day, within 20 minutes, we had that triple Fibonacci sequence spiral that wasn't there 20 minutes earlier. And we had pilots that flew in and out and documented that it wasn't there on their way in, but it was there on the way out. So crop circles are not only happening at night, they're happening during the day. And as evidenced in 3 of my 8 movies, they're happening in seconds.
Right. Right. Exactly. And so you have found that this energy is actually a generalized energy that can be applied to enhance human activity.
Well, what we're talking about is frequencies. So let's go deeper and just let's talk about plasma, because the base of everything is plasma. And the beginning of this show we're starting with, and the ending of the show is going to be the punchline, is that the way of the old world was gas and oil as our source of power. But now that we are awakening and realizing how wrong this has been all these years for the mother, the earth, and for all humanity and for the water. I mean, let's get down. Every single thing has been pretty well ecologically destroyed by the gas and oil industries for profit. And we've had free energy technologies forever. And when it comes down to it, what are they all? What's their common thread? Boom, right there is plasma. Plasma is going to be the basis of all the energy systems, all the frequency systems of the future. When we learn to manipulate plasma, when we learn to measure it, then we can manipulate it. And at that point, we will be able to create anything. The problem is that the technologies that Patty Greer and William Levengood came up with have been, I'm going to say suppressed, but probably stolen would be a better word. And the thing about learning to use plasma is if you're conscious enough to be a thief, to steal and do all these things that they did to Levengood to get that technology away from him, you're going to probably stoop to the level to the unfortunate thing of plasma can create or destroy matter. So what we want is this technology in the hands of great people and certainly not others that aren't intentional. So let's go back up to the top. You can just arrow back to...
Okay.
Yeah.
We're headed there now. Okay, so here we are. We're at the beginning here.
Go to the next one, please.
Okay, here we are.
So this is Crop Circle Diaries. We seem to be missing a part of the cover. The interesting thing that I found in movie 1 and movie 4 is that through listening to telepathic communications and not thinking, I found that there's only one footage that the world has seen where balls of light lay a crop circle down in seconds. And it's famous, 1996, the Oliver's Castle footage. And what we see is 2 balls of light enter the field, they spin over it, and within seconds, a field goes down. A formation in the field goes down. And what the public sees is these spinning balls of light. But what's literally happening when you see a ball of light creating a crop circle, what that is, Penny and William Levengood. Now, William Levengood, I refer to, was the only scientist in the world that told the truth about crop circles. He spent decades researching these frequencies and how to work with them to enhance our agricultural system, to heal the human body. I mean, there's all these amazing things once you learn how to work with these frequencies. And what they realized from re-engineering what's going on in crop circles was that it was counter-rotating vortices coming out of the earth. So what we have are 2 counter-rotating, turning in opposite directions, tornadoes of spinning frequencies coming out of the earth, coming through water. Perhaps they've got, then once they get up and they're spinning in the field, counter-rotating, and always near each other, then we are, they've already predetermined what the message is before it comes into the field. So if there's ETs involved, those frequencies are brought into these spinning vortices. And then if humans are involved, those frequencies are added to those spinning vortices. And it spins to the perfect, I believe, frequency speed. Again, I'm not one of these technicians, but the essence is that they continue to spin until they get to the exact frequency. They shoot a message between them, and the field goes down in seconds. And that message is probably the next photo. And so what I found was this communication between these 2 spinning plasma balls of light right before they laid the field down, and the only footage that the world has ever seen where crop circles are laid down by balls of light in seconds is that Oliver's Castle footage. Now, unfortunately for the world, there were people funded very nicely to let the world know it was fake. So everybody said, okay, it's fake. And when I brought this out in my first movie, nobody noticed or commented. So my 4th movie, I stuck it in the front. Okay, I mean, I can't even tell you how relentlessly I've worked at this. But in my 4th movie that won all the awards, I stuck it in the front 3 times. And I met the man who with all due respect, Colin Andrews had claimed with the Nippon TV team and what he called secret detectives that they had proven that this was fake, and everybody went back to sleep. But here I come without trying, without knowing that he had done that great research or expensive research or whatever it was. And I don't have a feeling about Colin one way or another. I choose to just say he's doing his work and I'm doing mine. But he proved that this was fake. And I appear to have proved that it was real, that they communicated. And so here I have this little bit where these two balls of light, or these plasma balls, have shot this message and the field went down right after it. Now, if in fact the world still believes that that is a fake digital communication or binary code, and I found that somebody had sent me by email footage of two balls of light, three maybe, laying a crop circle down in France. So I have it in the movie, Crop Circle Diaries. I mean, bang, bang, bang in your face. People, you got to wake up and realize I don't make these things. I mean, these are real. But for me, the interesting piece has been what I'm seeing is, I don't know if it's women or if it's truth, but whatever it is, somebody's having a real issue with my films. But that only says to me they're really important. Keep going. So here I've got this amazing find, which I'm all excited about still today, September 2016. Only Barbara Lamb, who she's been in 2,000 crop circles. She's not paid to lie. I mean, that woman, she knows this is real, and she knows it's all real. So I finally met the real partner of the scientist, William Levengood, for the last 16 years of his life, Penny Kelly. The woman is a wizard. And Crop Circle Diaries is really just me and Penny Kelly. I'm the experiencer in more than 100 crop circles years in a row. She was the scientist at the lab that was looking at the bent nodes and all the evidence. They also had a piece of the Roswell ship. I mean, they were doing incredibly important work at the lab. And so Penny Kelly and I were brought together, and I showed her this photo, and she looked at it and she said, "Oh my God, where'd you get that? Two plasma balls communicating. That's fabulous." And I said, "You nailed it." Like in the first second, she said, "Well, yeah, that's what we're looking at, right?" So this is very interesting. And then the men at the UFO conference said to me, "We really need you to get some PhD person to say that this is real." Well, give me a name. So it's been interesting that it was Jim Delatoso. And with all due respect, like I do respect everyone, I sent him this photo. And I waited 2 months. And he finally got back to me and said, "It's an eyelash that must have fell on the original footage." So at Christmas, like 6 months ago, I guess 9 now, a lovely man, Native American, Bear Cloud, very honorable Native American, walked up to me and said, "Patty, I have a gift for you." "What's that?" He said, "I've got the original Oliver's Castle footage, and you're going to bring it." I was stunned. I was like, what are the chances? I'm not even asking, but I am just making a new movie, Crop Circle Diaries, because William Levengood's working me from the other side. So he said, "You need to come to Sedona." And I said, "Well, isn't that interesting? I'll be there next month." So he shows me his film where he's got the original footage, but I went public. And it was so fascinating that I said to the world, "I am so excited. My new movie's going to share with you the original Oliver's Castle footage that I was just gifted with." And of all things, that lovely Colin Andrews went on my Facebook and responded, "Really? Wonder what's in my vault then?"
Oh.
So it turned out it wasn't the actual tape. It was the actual tape had been put in his movie by Jim Delatoso.
Oh.
So in this beautiful movie by Bear Cloud, I forget what it's called, which I shouldn't. I see it over there. He's got Jim Delatoso sitting in front of a huge wall of gear telling the truth about Oliver's Castle. And he says to Bear Cloud on camera, "I know this is real. And when you look at this, it's the same quality of balls of light as the Phoenix Lights." Again, this is all in Crop Circle Diaries, which I'm calling my final Crop Circle movie, because for me, the questions are answered. We nailed all of it in Crop Circle Diaries. This is like I'm not bragging, I'm just saying Penny Kelly showed up, William Levengood showed up, all these people are working with me and begging me to bring it, so I'm bringing it. But this was a very interesting piece that Delatoso said to me, that's an eyelash, what, with two goobers on the ends? I mean, come on. But anyway, I let it go. But then when Bear Cloud showed me his movie, and it had this beautiful interview in the 90s where the two of them, Bear Cloud and Jim, were discussing this exact footage, Jim said, without a doubt, it's real. And he's sitting in front of a wall of gear deciphering every single frame. And that, my friends, is in Crop Circle Diaries. And I had Bear Cloud give me a permission in writing. And with his glorious grace, he said, you don't need written permission. And I said, oh, yeah, I do. Oh, yeah, I do. Because, I mean, everybody on the other side is just playing these silly little games because what? Help me out here. Is it because I'm a woman and they're scared of women? Or is it because I tell the truth and I don't ever lie? I mean, what is it, Alfred?
Well, I think that as we discussed in part one, and as we were talking prior to the program in our discussions and planning here, part two, this is connected. I believe, since you asked me a question, there's tremendous forces that are out to suppress what Mother Earth is trying to do, what Mother Earth is doing, not what she's trying to do, but what she's doing, which is these Earth processes that result in crop circles are, as you reported and we theorized, are intimately connected to the process of density shift and to to processes of consciousness, and so the quote darker forces are trying to suppress this because they want to see if they can use the technology for weaponry or profit center or something like that. So their approach is to use COINTELPRO all the time. That is to suppress invention and research in the public interest, and then to use all of their secret military oriented and kind of darker dimensions oriented research. That's since you asked me a question, that would be my response.
Well, I do want you to speak to it because I try and get away from who I feel I know it is. You know, with the work I've done, I only have one enemy, and it's so easy to tell who they are. For me, I've been extremely disappointed in old men acting like this, but they're not even men. It's just, it's a cabal mentality. And they don't have an ounce of give. It's only about winning and controlling. And I guess women like me that aren't impressed in the least are the ones that they dislike the most, because every time they do a hack today, yesterday, last week, I can't even begin to tell you how much he must be spending to have them keep being such nuisances. Let's go to the next photo.
Well,
and I say he,
if I could comment, at the end of that hack, there could be a sentient artificial intelligence, not an old white man. So I just want to posit that hypothesis.
Sure. I think everything's possible, but somebody's really scared of me. And look at my face. This is how I react. I just love.
I mean, put it this way: it's Mother Earth. It's Mother Earth, soulful Mother Earth, versus an invading pathogenic artificial intelligence that's trying to
Stop evolution.
Trying to infect it at the most generalized level. Yeah. Okay.
It's a good way to put it. It could be AI because it is that unconscious. For me, my devotion is to humanity. You know, this is all just kind of nuisance. For me, I'm so excited about this work because they just keep coming.
All
And
right.
yeah. And what we have now this summer in England, which I didn't even go this year. I mean, it's gotten so bad with the infighting in the field and the farmers and the drama. But this summer has been interesting because for 18 years, we've had this beautiful research center called the Silent Circle. And when I say beautiful, I mean, it's just like where the family goes. And we come in from all these different countries and we want to meet first thing in the morning. And we want to see the map with the red push pins where there's a new crop circle. So we count on the Silent Circle and we get there in the morning and he always had somebody that brought great cakes and coffees. And so we'd sit there and chum up and then we'd sneak out and go cavalcade to different crop circles together or alone. And all of a sudden this year, first time in almost 20 years, our research center closed in the epicenter in Wiltshire, England. Our research center closed. Let's go to the next picture, please. So I was a speaker at the International UFO Congress Convention in 2014. On the way to the stage, the man that owns the event now told me that he knew without a doubt there was no real crop circles in the world. And I remembered thinking, wow, interesting timing as I'm going on your stage for you to tell me that you know this. So I said straight up, how do you know and how many have you been in? Oh, well, the crew and all the expensive gear. And I said, yeah, how many have you walked into yourself? Well, one, but we had magnetometers. And I was like, I hear you. And I understand that you feel strongly about that. And thank you so much for letting me speak here. And then I went in front of 1,000 people and had a standing ovation. I showed 331 slides. And both of my spinning videos that were like 3.5 minutes, somebody either backstage or in the audience stopped because the audience was just like, oh my God, this is so good. And they were really getting into this trippy. When you spin sacred geometric crop circles, all of a sudden you can see propulsion technologies in so many of these formations. So a lot of people are going, what's all the sacred geometry, the mandalas? Well, okay, let's look at a bunch of them. Now put a pin in the middle, print it up and spin it. Do you see propulsion? So again, I keep going back to Circle Diaries. I just put everything in this movie. It's an hour and a half, but you'll see 2 videos where crop circles spin and it totally changes the frequency. So after this talk, a woman comes up to me and invites me to Michigan to come speak at her event. So it was all these psychics and healers and I was the keynote. A man comes up to me at the end of the first day and he says, there's someone you need to meet. And I said, who's that? And he says, Patty Greer, which is the lady on your screen. And I said, who's that? And he said, it's somebody you need to meet. Will you take a drive with me? And I said, well, number 1, it's night. Number 2, I don't know you, so probably not. But I'll ask around, and if people feel good about you, perhaps tomorrow. So the next night I did go with him, and I met Patty Greer. And I walk in, and we have hours together, and she was brilliant. She's written 8 books, pennykelly.com. And her books are on consciousness, Kundalini, and sure enough, one she wrote with William Levengood, but I didn't know. So after 4 hours, I said, it's 2 a.m. You've got to take me back to the hotel. I'm sorry, I have to speak first thing in the morning. So he drives me back. And as I'm leaving, Penny said, oh, let me give you one of my books. And I said, great, because I want to give you one of my movies. So we did this nice trade, and I went through the pages. And, oh, my God, crop circle nodes, what are they doing in your book? She looks at the guy. She's like, you didn't tell her who I am? I've been there 4 hours, Alfred. And he nodded his head, nope. And she looked at me in the eye, and she said, I was the real person that worked with William Levengood for the last 16 years of his life in the lab. I was like, what? I thought that was Nancy Talbot, BLT. And she said, nope. And I've never said this on the air, but the truth is, Penny said straight out, Levengood and Nancy Talbot had a big disagreement in 1998, and he expelled her from the lab. She was never back in the lab again, nor did he speak with her again and called her all kinds of superlatives. So he told Penny, you need to deal with her. She made one call, and that was it for her. So again, God bless Nancy. She's flying with the BLT name, but Levengood and Burke, neither of them worked with her since the previous century. So we're in an interesting conundrum where a lot of the, shall we say, top and famous people are starting to be brought to the surface to be healed, shall we say. And so I was really quite surprised to learn, number one, that BLT had disbanded 17 years ago, but also that crop circles are coming out of the earth. They're not coming out of the sky. So how did Penny and Lefty figure this out? And how did I even meet Penny? How weird is this? So I'm at her house. She tells me this as I'm leaving. And I thought, oh, this is too insane. You've got to invite me back. And she said, well, in a month, we're doing a wake for Lefty. Please come back. And I said, I'll definitely be here. Let's go to the next frame. So I come back to the hotel. It's 2:30 in the morning. And the gentleman drives me. His name is Stan, up to the door of the hotel. And the driveway, actually, and I'm walking up to the door, and these two psychics are standing out front, and all of a sudden, at the same time, both of them kind of lifted their arms and folded them, and they're just nodding, looking at me. And I said, hello, ladies, it's 2:30 in the morning. Why are you staring at me? And they said, what a lovely man just walked you up. And I turn around like I'm looking for Stan, and he's in the parking lot doing a big loop. And I looked at the ladies and I said, beg your pardon. And they said, tall man, silver goatee, silver beard. Do you know who it is? And then I got it, oh my God, they're seeing a psychic hologram of somebody next to me. And I said, I have no idea. And she said, he's got a message. Can I tell you? And I said, sure. She said, he wants you to know that he orchestrated this and he's really glad it worked. And I said, oh my God, hold on, don't move. And I ran through the parking lot. I threw my arms around. I did get Stan's attention. He backed up and I'm panting. And I said, what did Lefty look like? Levengood. And he said, tall, silver hair, silver goatee. Why? And I was just like, he's here. And sure enough, I barely slept. He worked me that night. When I came back a month later to the farm, the first night I stayed there, I personally saw him walk through the door. I saw the same hologram as the ladies saw at the hotel, and he came right up to the bed. I'm getting chills as I tell you because it hits me that way every time. And he just nodded and he looked at me right in the eye. And this is a hologram, but I'm seeing it. And he said, I did orchestrate this, and I'm really glad you're here. And luckily it didn't scare me. I'm like unscarable anymore. But I just nodded and I said, hey, I'm here for you. I'm on your team. You just guide me. And pull these hackers off, would you? Come on, from the other side, pull that plug and let that toilet flush. So anyway, I was absolutely stunned. I got into the lab. I took so many photos. When the girl that inherited the lab turned her back, I was like, brrr, like 83 photos in 4.5 minutes. I was under, over, up, down. There's an orb in so many of the photos, which is Lefty showing up. So Crop Circle Diaries happened in about 3 months. He just totally guided me through the movie. And then somebody from France sends me the footage of balls of light laying a crop circle down in seconds that nobody has seen. I mean, it's like, really? Well, if Oliver's Castle, if you want to believe all those people that it's fake, how about this one? Or do you want this one? I mean, you know, come on. So to be gentle on the field, what we have here is a major transition of what would we call us? Speakers, researchers. I don't consider my work research. I consider myself an experiencer who tells the truth. I think that a lot of research can get us in trouble, especially today, now that we've got so many people being paid to lie. I've never been made an offer to lie for anyone. I've never been threatened. I just have immense and consistent hacking of my Amazon, my Vimeo, my PayPal, my YouTube. And to tell you the truth, the reason you didn't have a beautiful PowerPoint with 50 photos was because Crop Circle Diaries just got picked up by PBS in America. Huge TV channel. Millions of people will see it.
Oh,
and it's
beautiful.
Saturday night. Yeah, super excited.
Oh,
so
wow.
I hired another editor out of state, and I didn't tell anyone. I I mean, I didn't even tell him that I sent him a hard drive because he and I are working on a different film. And when he sent me the master through the US mail, my very special hackers have somebody backstage at the post office. And this is a federal offense, but they actually took that hard drive that was sent to me by priority mail 2 days. It took 7 for it to get to me. The power cord was missing. Half the data was gone, and there was no wrapping in the box. So I called the editor, and I said, why would you send me it like this? He said, I didn't. There was a power cord that was wrapping, and the data was all there. He said, you can't lose half the data by dropping it. Somebody had to have physically gone in and removed the data. So these people that are messing with me actually have somebody backstage at the post office, backstage at Amazon, backstage at Vimeo, backstage at YouTube, and needless to say, at PayPal. So when you can pay people to do this to just anyone for money, you destroy a lot of really good work. On the other hand, they're not destroying me. They're just acting like mosquitoes that just do that, you know, but then they just send more mosquitoes. So for me, all they're doing is showing me really the importance of this work. But Levengood, what he and Penny discovered in the lab is why they're really hiding my work, aside from the fact that I do have direct telepathic communication. Finding that binary code between the two balls of light happened like this. I bring home the footage. I got permission to use Oliver's Castle from 2 great real crappies, Janet Osebard and Bert Janssen from Holland. They give me the early footage. I stick it in the film. The movie's done. I have no idea what I was doing. I hired a kid on Craigslist, and the movie's called, my first one, The Wake Up Call. Anybody listening? Really good title, because frankly, that's still the problem today with crop circles. Anybody listening? So at the end of the movie, I said to the editor, let's lay in that amazing footage where 2 balls of light lay a crop circle down in seconds. Bang, the movie's done. Ended. Wow, that was incredible. I said, turn off the gear, let's walk outside, take a break, and then we'll come back in and watch it, and if it's perfect, we'll fly with it. So he shuts the gear off, and we're walking outside, and I look over my shoulder, and I said, oh, wait, you didn't turn off the monitor. And we both looked over, and there was this big blue orb on the monitor. And I said, oh, yeah, what's that blue orb? And so we both walked up to the monitor, and I said, what is that? That's not even in the movie. And he looked at me, and he said, Patty, the monitor's unplugged from the wall. So they just keep showing up and saying, yoo-hoo, yoo-hoo. So all of a sudden I see this thing. I see it's unplugged from the wall. I look at the editor, and his eyes are like big, like watermelons. And I said, wow, this is new even for me. Sit back down, turn the gear on. But I thought we were going to, nope, sit down, turn it on. Why? I said, I don't know, just do it. So he lights it up. I said, show me that footage again where the balls of light laid the crop circle down. So he shows it to me, and I said, reverse it. He said, why? I said, I don't know, just reverse it. So he sat there watching it. And I said, slow it down. He says, how slow? I said, I don't know, 30%. Why did I say that? I mean, it was really weird. It was just like, fell out of my mouth. And the editor's like, that was weird. And I said, yeah, just do it. So he slows it down, 30%, reversed. Bang, there it is. The line of communication between the 2 plasma balls of light. And I yelled, lock that frame. Not that I even knew how to talk film talk, but I said, lock that frame. Give me a screenshot. Holy crap, those balls of light just communicated. And I was as clean and squeaky new to crop circles as anybody could have been holding a camera or hiring a crew. I didn't know anything about it, but the expert that all the men respect told me it was an eyelash with goobers on the ends. He didn't say goobers, but the balls of light, I mean, what are those at the end of an eyelash? But then Penny Kelly, in 1 second flat, a woman looked right at it and with all her heart said, wow, where'd you get that moment in time? Because plasma communicates, and plasma communicates in fraction of a second. It's instantaneous. And she said, for you to catch that frame was a moment in time. But I didn't catch it as a moment in time. They guided me to find it. So my first movie, The Wake-Up Call, anybody listening, I thought was going to be this big shocker. So what do you do with a UFO movie? I had no idea. I go online, I type in UFO movie, and there's the International UFO Congress Convention. And I called them on the phone. I was like, hi, I made a movie. I'm not sure what to do with it. And she says, oh, well, we have the biggest UFO film festival. And unfortunately, though, you missed the deadline by about a month. What's your movie about? And I said, crop circles. I just got back. Oh, my dad's got a weakness for crop circles. Send it anyway. So I sent the movie. And beautiful Bob Brown, whose family owned the UFO International UFO Congress Convention for like 20 years, calls me on the phone. Like 2 days later, I was a nobody other than a girl who just laid in a crop circle and became crappie. So he calls me and he says, I don't know who you are, but I love your movie. I can't cheat you in to the film festival, but I'm going to throw a Tuesday lunch just to show your film. And I'm going to get the hotel to sell people bag lunches with sandwiches to come in and watch your film during lunch Tuesday. Will you come? I was like, heck yeah, I will. Where are you? Tell me America, please. So sure enough, I go to this great event, and they introduced me, but Bob Brown introduced me as the new up-and-coming. He knew. I mean, he's beautiful. Unfortunately, the wife died. The kids, after a few years, didn't want to do it with Dad, so they sold it to Big Pharma, or the man that made money on Viagra is a nicer way to put it. And he told me the crop circles are not real. So last year, I probably talked my way out of being a speaker there anymore because I'm too honest. And I'm very grateful. I'm so grateful he bought the event. And so last year when I was there, all the women and I were looking at the schedule going. So he comes up while I'm standing there with Stanton Friedman and Kathleen Martin, who I adore, who are there like staples every year. And I said to this lovely man in front of them, I want to thank you so much for this event. I always thank him. And he said, well, you're welcome. And I said, it's my favorite party of the year. And I also want to thank you for allowing 3 women to speak out of 27 speakers. And he actually said, when women have something intelligent to say, they get asked. So I might have talked my way out of being a speaker there anymore. And they're also being sponsored by dark media for years. So the whole thing is collapsing on itself. And I just saw their edition of all the new speakers. It's all MUFON. And God bless MUFON, but they just gave their library of the last 10 years of speakers to UFO TV. Now, I never name names, but I'm doing it with a smile because the public needs to be awakened to who we are and what we're doing. Now, I don't understand why a large organization would just work with somebody who is in the back of a grocery store with unfinished walls for 20 years. He's also one of the distributors hiding my film's no income, but for 8 years. And so I'm in this interesting dance of trying to get the stuff off my shoe when you step in a pile that a dog just left. It's really hard to get them off your shoe when you sign contracts. And that's how they're getting rid of all the really good media, is getting us under contract and then hiding the work. But what happened to me in the last few months has been really surprising. I made an offer of thousands of dollars to the big distributors to go away and leave me alone, but I included that they had to stop hacking me. And they responded that they would take my thousands, that they had every legal right to continue electronic monitoring due to my defamatory statements. And I went, wow. And then they hit me with a gag order that went on for days, including I couldn't come back and sue them for anything I didn't know about them today that they were doing, but learned down the road. So you can see the level of frequency of what's going on with these people, how they come to me. And it was so easy. I said to my lawyer, we're done here. I'm never signing a gag order because I care about people. I care about the world not losing their work. And last month, to me, it was kind of careless, but on Vimeo, my movies have been showing for $20 each. And all of a sudden, one day I woke up and my movies were renting for $651.34. Now, after they did this to 5 or 8 of my Amazon items the months before, I said, who the heck is in charge of Vimeo? And I typed into their headquarters, and sure enough, it's the same guy that worked for my distributors that wrote me those very challenging letters early on. And there he is. Now he's the acquisitions for Vimeo. Well, I just said, take my movies down. I'm not playing with these guys. And we're in a very difficult war because we've got Murdoch controlling all the TV and radio and magazines and newspapers. And then we have Gaiam affecting all the conscious media and controlling and sponsoring all the UFO events now. And had they treated me with respect, they could have made a fortune on my films. And I can't get rid of them. It's a very interesting challenge. But when I saw their guy that had messed with me being the head of Vimeo, he didn't mess with me. He was straight out. I've instructed the staff not to speak with you anymore due to your defamatory statements. So you just go straight to legal. This is how I've been treated by all the distributors for 8 years. And what did I do? I made 4 more movies. So my work is cut out for me because I care. I'm devoted. I'm a woman, and I'm telling the friggin' truth about crop circles like William Levengood did. So I don't want to go into the whole drama of how they didn't let him have a PhD, and that's what they used to suppress his research all these years. But that entire story is told by Patty Greer in Circle Diaries, which is on my website, pattygreer.net. PATTYGREER.net. Let's go to the next photo, please. So Levengood and Penny and I are in this movie. Now here are the credits at the end of the film, and you can see who showed up. But had I taken more time, I would have shown you that there was one orb, only one, when we were doing sound check. It was Levengood. I'm sure of it. There was one orb hanging in the ceiling as we were setting up the play of the movie. And at the end, this is people leaving when the movie's over. Those are the credits. And you can see the orbs just everywhere. This lovely man took 20, 30 pictures. None of them were not filled with orbs. But there's something very different about these orbs from any I have ever seen. Do you see those stripes and striations?
Right.
There's something missing in some of our audience of ET orbs. Or it's a different species that I had never seen. But again, those same sponsors that don't want my work getting out were there, as well as Scientology. So we had a blending of frequencies of really honorable people, and then this interesting little snake that was weaving its way through the crowd. And it was fascinating that David Wilcock asked me to be on his panel, but he didn't ask me. I was told when I got there, you're the girl on the David Wilcock panel. So that was the last night event, and oh my God, what a great honor. And so here I am. I've got 2 guys glaring at me on one side, and then beautiful Jim Mars at the end. And then I've got to my right beautiful Gordon Asher Davidson and David Wilcock on my right. But it was interesting, these 2 guys who I won't mention, for some reason, every photo, they're just glaring at me, just glaring. So we've got this beautiful, multi-dimensional everything everywhere in ufology now. My job is to just stay grounded and centered and try and save others from not losing their work. For me, it's not a war with a group of bad boys with money. For me, it's a level of, let's fix this. Let's work together. You know, I really am a team player, but boy, have I stepped on the toes by proving that balls of light are laying down crop circles and that they communicate right before they lay the formation down. So you mentioned one thing earlier. Also, you asked me to talk more than listen because your throat is hurting, so I'll just carry on. William Levengood and Penny Kelly in the lab all those years, they were testing the plants coming out of crop circles with magnets. And they had these magnets that went up and down so they could really try and register where these frequencies are happening and try and reproduce them. And what they found was that they didn't get much reaction from the seeds, and they had actually given up for a while. And so Levengood just took the seeds and he put them on his desk and he forgot about them for a few months. What a blessing. This wouldn't have worked had he not forgotten about those seeds, because it wasn't an immediate reaction where they figured out what was going on in crop circles. So as he's cleaning his desk, after a while, he finds his packet of seeds, and he was headed for the trash can, and he said at the last minute, this little voice came into my head and it said, put those seeds in the germination chamber. And they were all shriveled and shrunken, and they looked like they were totally dead, but he stuck them in the germination chamber, and that's when he realized that those seeds, when they got to sleep for 6 to 8 weeks, they produced 30 to 400%, 30 to 400% more food and biofuel per plant, with up to 75% more nutrition per seed. Now, biofuel, just think, when we bring in hemp, if we can be using these frequencies for the betterment of the planet, not to hurt things or to misdirect these frequencies, we're going to be able to bring back our food supply amply. And they also started working on it on the human body, and they found that they could create perfect plasma frequencies in the human form. No matter how bad it was, they could recalibrate people's frequencies using these technologies. So what we have is a really, really advanced pile of information from William Levengood and Penny Kelly. And unfortunately, I also included the name of a man who was archiving in the movie, and I haven't heard back from him for a long time, but I heard he's still around and he's still free to roam the planet. But every time I compliment somebody on Facebook, they get hacked. Every time I say, I'm working with these people, bang. And unfortunately, with my PBS coming up, I had hired an incredible house to upgrade Crop Circle Diaries to have even better color and better sound, and we couldn't get it through. So I just today had to give them the old version. The version that I showed at the world premieres, but I just dropped $1,000 to get it gorgeous, but the hackers will not let these files go through. And the only way I can do anything today is to literally physically hand it to a person. So it's we're definitely right there teetering the cliff of these people are scared to death, and unfortunately they got a lot of money to keep hiding the data. But fortunately, there's people like you and me out here going, yeah, really? Here's a new movie. Take that. And it's even better than the last.
Wow. Well, the PBS development is potentially a very, very important breakthrough, because that, of course, is to millions of people in kind of the common mind, and that's kind of the bulk of humanity, and sort of we think of it as the benevolent humanity. I mean, if one can move the common mind toward an upward ascension, that's rather than descent into chaos, that's the best news that I've heard in a long time.
Oh yeah.
And I can see how that sabotage, or that attempted sabotage, would have occurred. Now, with regard to plasma, and I hate to, just to come, but I took about 6 months to study the artificial intelligence, this particular invading off-planet sentient pathogenic AI. And its format in invading this planet seems to have been plasma-based. And that is in sort of a black goo, which is a plasma, and then its form that it's taken has been plasma-based, many different formats in the internet, in internet devices like smartphones and computers, and that's all plasma. So I'm thinking that it's almost as though we have plasma, and then we have Mother Earth working kind of with the light plasma, the good plasma, and then this pathogenic artificial inorganic entity working with a pathogenic dualistic pre-programmed entity embedded in plasma. Does that ring any bells with you? I'm just trying to find correspondences with you, because it seems to me that it's this crop circle energy that is going to defeat the transhumanist agenda and the AI. I'm sort of thinking out loud here. Does that make sense to you?
It does. It's not about the crop circle energy. It's kind of like us. We are a human, we do many things, and our mouth speaks words. We communicate messages, ideas, thoughts. I think crop circles are messages, ideas, and thoughts from spirit, earth, and humanity. But it's not just humanity, it's human consciousness, not human darkness. But because everything is plasma, then yes, we do have a direct correlation, because everything is. Everything is related. And that's why all these years, these hippie years, the last 30 years, we've been hearing your thoughts create your reality. So be careful what you think, feel, say. All these things are true, because as we create these thoughts, again, we're sending energy, which is plasma. And emotion is energy in motion. So yeah, plasma moves, thoughts, feelings, energy moves. So if we can retune, and this is what I'm saying about all these, shall we say, cell towers that are tainted, when we shift the vibration, every time I drive anywhere in Boulder, Colorado, or Denver, it's all towers, 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 or construction putting up more towers. I see them putting out classical music. I see them doing 80s funk. So in our cars and traffic, we can dance to the groove. I don't allow myself, my frequencies, because I know I'm strong. I know I'm darn strong. I choose to see them differently. And I demand that I don't put my attention on all these horrible things that the little hackers are doing, the little, it's just what that is. And I think it's because I'm older, you're older. I look at this, I look down on it. To me, I'm watching high school bullies fighting behind the playground and then giving somebody their sandwich to go kick the girl. I mean, this is what I'm tolerating. It's so stupid. And the smile on my face is real. I'm laughing at all of it because it's so foolish. We are waking up. It can't be stopped. So let's move through these photos and then go back to where I can see you and me, because it really is this incredible time where shows like yours and movies like mine need to be seen and heard by the mass public. And PBS is massive. It's the third movie they've shown. They showed, I think it's the next picture, Crop Circle Update, The Wake Up Call. And this one took 4 awards. I got Best Film and Best Music at the International UFO Congress Convention. Can we go to the next photo?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Oh, Women of Today. Again, everything tied together. This movie I also made at the top of the year. Laura Eisenhower, Shanaz Soni, and Tonya Madenford. So here I am. What am I doing making a women's movie? I don't know. But sure enough, the movie happened. My telepathic communicators came in, and the first person they showed me, I was actually at Contact in the Desert. I brought my camera gear thinking I'd, do another movie about all the famous people. And I'm watching them walk by, and I went, done it, done it, done it, done it, done it. I've already made 7 movies, just like, I've already. And then I meet this girl the last night who looks at me and says, can I show you some photos? And all the photos on her phone were like the best orb photos I've ever seen. Finally, I looked at her face and I said, "Oh my God, you're hybrid." And she just nodded. "Oh my God. Who's this beautiful woman next to you?" "I'm a psychic surgeon." "How good are you?" "Very." And all of a sudden, bang, back of my head, I went, "Oh my God, a movie about wise women." So 33 women doing all kinds of different things, many of them like your normal neighbor, but all doing it from their heart for the planet. Pretty powerful. I was like, oh, yay, finally a non-UFO movie. Maybe I can break through and get into film festivals that are not allowed to show real UFO movies, only fear-based ones. So all of a sudden I realized, oh, darn, there's 3 women working on the Mars mission in this movie. Well, I guess it's not so, not UFO. So what do I have in this movie? Well, let's see. Accidentally, I interviewed this beautiful woman, a Pakistani, who works between NASA and Boeing, building the shuttles going to Mars. Within the next 15 years, they will have 60 built to take passengers to Mars. Imagine that. NASA and Boeing been working on it for years. She sends me photos. I'm like, is this legal for me to put in my movie? She says, yeah, it's on the website, just nobody knows to look for it. So there's a photo of her in this beautiful movie, Women of Today, where she's got a shower cap on and she's standing in front of the shuttle going to Mars with all the wires there, and she's the final approval piece. It's a woman. Yeah, it's a woman. So then there's Laura Eisenhower. Everybody knows her amazing story. She turned down the secret space program. She did not choose to go to Mars, although her family had wanted her to because she's the black sheep. She's too honest to be a Rockefeller. I mean, an Eisenhower. All these presidents' names, they just kind of go into the same soup. So Laura is amazing. And then the third woman is Tanya Madenford, who made the movie Packing for Mars. And that one was so, shall we say, threatening to the small minis that they almost destroyed the stage right before it showed at Contact in the Desert. And I really, really love that event, but unfortunately, it's fully infiltrated now. And, you know, all of our UFO events are kind of going down, but luckily there will be new ones. And all of this is leading up to what's really coming, in my opinion, is the women are coming back. And Laura and I and Penny Kelly and Barbara Lamb are on the top of my list to start a new internet TV show. I've already been invited by 2 major organizations. And I did get invited by Guyam and Corey and David, and I laughed. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that, right? You guys hiding my films. Why would you even call me? And, but I was, you know, I was laughing. Now, I really appreciate David. I really do. I think David is very smart. He's worked very hard. I barely understand the connection, but a lot of people really need money now. So anyway, the events that are coming, I think, are going to be a lot more important than the ones of the past, because we've been so tainted with misinformation that the new events, and certainly my TV show, are only going to feature people telling the truth. And I just spoke at one called the Awareness Life Expo in Sacramento. Brand new. Javier Sandoval and Patrick White put it on. Hardly anybody knows who they are, but boy, did they have great speakers. I also went to James Gilliland's event. Boy, did he have great speakers. And it was about the past and the future. We had Jim Mars and God, what's his name? The amazing man that just took down the 12 Federal Reserve banks. Help me with his name. Anyway, Winston Strout. So here I am sitting there grabbing both their arms at breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Gilliland's ranch. And I'm saying, you guys have to talk past, future, because I really want to focus on the evolution. And I know you do too, Albert, because this AI, this crap, this hacking is the old paradigm. And the only reason it's so intense is because we are already straddling the 4th and 5th dimensions. And all of this old stuff is just stuck in 3rd, which isn't really going to be where we're going to be living a whole lot longer. Let's go to the next picture, please. But Women of Today, powerful film, really, really honoring women. Crop Circle Update, the wake-up call. This is the one where I took the Oliver's Castle footage with the balls of light communicating, and I put it in the very front of the film 4 times in the first 5 minutes. Bang, 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 3 times. Like, okay, you missed it in the first movie because it was at 77 minutes. This is in the first 5 minutes, in your face, bang, bang, bang. And so I met lovely Colin Andrews when he won the Lifetime Achievement Award at the UFO Congress. And I met him hours before the event, and I was delighted to meet him. I didn't know really what he had done because I didn't research his work. But I said, oh, so lovely to meet you. And he said, oh, Patty, just watched your film, quite nice. I said, which one? And I didn't know what he had done. So he says, Crop Circle Update, I think the new one. And I said, oh, wow, what'd you think of the fact that I solved the Oliver's Castle mystery? And he just stared at me. And I said, it was in the first 3 minutes, first 5 minutes, 3 times. And he just stared at me, and I said, you missed it? And he just stared at me, and I said, well, would you be willing to go back and watch it with the wife and get back to me? Because I know you're famous, but it would be great if you'd be the one that would document the fact that, oh my God, this girl found the communication. So he just kind of was polite, and 4 hours later, he won the Lifetime Achievement Award. And as I'm sliding down the back of my chair, they showed his clip of how he told the world that the Oliver's Castle footage was fake. Go back to sleep. He didn't say go back to sleep. He just said it was fake. And all of a sudden I went, oh my God, nice, Patty, nice. You go meet this guy and you don't know who he is or what he did. And then in his face you say, hey, I just proved you wrong. So after everybody cleared away, I went up and I said, oh. And he looked at me and he nodded. He goes, you really are straight on. You don't know what we do you? And I was like, mm-mm. He said, that was pretty cute. I'm going to go back and watch it. So, lovely man. He did go back and watch it. And so I wrote him, kind of like Delatoso. And finally he writes back. The punchline was back and forth, back and forth. He said, I can't say you're right, but I'm not going to say you're wrong.
Oh, good. Well, that's, so that there, as long as there's open minds and,
yeah,
there is dialogue. I have a big question in this area, which kind of bridges the, it bridges your, Women of Today film, your Crop Circle Update film, and your hacking experience, and kind of all of the areas here. And it comes down to the return of the divine feminine and kind of the goddess. And I used to say, well, that's because women have bigger corpus callosums. Connects the 2 hemispheres of the brain so that women can process right and left hemisphere better, and men are these kind of like sort of like robots, and we can't process right and left hemisphere that much. That's one of our design inadequacies. But it shows that women were created first, and the Bible's a lie, right? It's totally backwards. So
we had to practice, you guys.
Yeah. So to get to my larger point, the return of the goddess, we live on an exactly backwards world where it's actually a female world. There was an event on this planet where there was a male rebellion. They flipped everything upside down, and it said instead of the goddess ruling, now it's the revolt of the patriarchal oppressive male. And now the pendulum is finally swinging the other way, because it should be a female world. It's not by design, it should be a female world. All you have to do is compare males and females, and it's obvious, right? And so it's obvious to me that yourself and all of the women's listed here in Women of the World and others would be at the forefront of this transformation because it goes deeper. It's a species reversal to the illicit counter-evolutionary transformation when men seize power and have been oppressing women, not only cosmically unlawfully, but counter-evolutionarily. That's a view, okay? And that's the view that, that's not feminism, that's kind of deism in terms of the goddess. What say you about that kind of cosmic rant that I just gave?
Well, I think that the fight that most people talk about is balance. Everything is balance. And because the scales are so tipped the last 300 years with war-minded leadership, male-dominant leadership, my God, clitoral cutting, women having to wear tent over their entire body and get stoned if they show a hand or an eye. I mean, those are some scared, I'm sorry to be disrespectful. To me, that's fear porn. Why would you do that to a woman? Make her walk around town in a tent, a black tent. I just don't get it. There's no excuse to hide your women unless you're scared. And I think that has been why women have been, unfortunately, dishonored for so long. But when my family says to me, well, the immediate future has to be balanced, male, female power, it's like, well, we're already here, okay? The men have just about worn out the world with their warring demands and their killing of animals to feed the wife and kids, or the woman and the kids back at the cave. But here we are, the women, sitting with all this compassion, being extremely patient. But I think we've run out of patience because we're seeing forced vaccinations on innocent children when we have the evidence. I'm friends with Del Bigtree's family. This Vaxxed movie should be the biggest, huge red flag to the world, except when I talk to generic people, they say, what's Vaxxed? It's like, are you kidding me? This movie isn't huge, where they actually showed documents where the CDC was hiding. Yes, we're killing children. Yes, we're killing adults. And now in California, they're not only trying to force laws to force everybody to be vaccinated, but now they're forcing laws to arrest people that talk about it. I mean, whoa, that's not done by a woman or a woman of compassion and consciousness. So as we look at this immediate future, how are we going to save the earth? Well, that balance has to come back. So literally to balance it, it's going to need to be women leaders. And I don't mean like hillbill Hillary woman. I don't mean that kind of woman. I mean, all modesty aside, somebody like me who tells the truth, who cares about the world, who cries about what's going on with the pedophilia. I mean, my God, what happened to my species? So I do believe it's going to be women that are going to make a very, very big, powerful stand. And that movie came out of nowhere, but I'm really glad I did it. And meeting all those women really showed me that a lot of women walking down the street, you have no idea their power, what they do. And a lot of them live with men that have different emotional problems, so they keep their women always feeling bad about themselves. Well, I think that party's over, because the only way to move this species forward and to really take good care of our children is to raise our frequency. Everything is frequency. So now we're going to go back to that plasma field. Again, bringing your story, their story, my story, which is that everything is consciousness. Everything is frequency. So as we raise our frequency, we're going to shift our consciousness. Let's just pop through the last of these pictures because there's only a few more. This one was fascinating. This is movie 5. It's how I lost my last boyfriend. I filmed stuff that was too heavy. And he was like, oh, you're so cute, telling me, balls of light. And oh, my God. So he's standing there with me when we saw these two guys fall out of their van. And they had just seen, at 5 in the morning or 4, these balls of light show up in the sky over a crop circle. A doorway opened and illumined light beings with arms, legs, and head came out of a ball of light. I thought my boyfriend was going to fall over, and everywhere we went for 24 hours, Everybody we met hundreds of miles away from each other was in the same formation that night and had a communication with the orange balls of light. And by the time I finished, it was called 4 Stories, One Event, Other Worlds, but nobody could find the movie because it didn't say what it was about, which is the orbs and light beings. So this is still a very, very well hidden movie, but it has without a doubt the best orb photos I've ever seen from a woman in Australia who's taken more than 800,000 photos, morning, noon, and night, 11 different cameras, flash on, flash off. And if you want to say lens flare, you may as well go back to the bathroom and wash your mouth out with soap, because 800,000 to me is evidence. She took photos of orbs when the fire was happening in Australia. They're burned. And I show that in this movie. Unbelievable. Again, it's a transference field of thought where you move your thoughts and the orbs respond. So she, a lot of times, will sit in her yard and ask them to go into the shape of a flower, and they do. And I have that photo. So I do instructions when I do my talks at these big events. I used to, but now I've been too honest the last few years. I don't know if I'll get invited back, but that's okay. I think there's something new, which is these TV shows where I can reach more people than these infiltrated events where a lot of people in the audience you don't want to be around anyway. I mean, good golly, you know, we are threatening the world with honesty now because we are at the door of the Great Jubilee. I believe it's true. And hopefully by the next...
Could I, when you say we are at the door of the Great Jubilee, I believe it's true. I can't let you move on without asking you, could you elaborate, please?
Yes.
What you mean by that?
I would love to elaborate because a lot of people, once this happens, won't be able to talk about what they went through. And I'm one of those people because it's so big. It's so beautiful. And I did see you mention it in some of your postings. So I was hoping we'd burst this bubble open. Let's see what the next photo is as we talk about the Jubilee. Yeah. And we've already done this and the other, so maybe it'll just get back to you and I, unless there's anything after the free energy piece. I think that's all I sent. Yeah.
Okay.
So what's interesting is that behind the scenes, I believe it's true that the world has already changed and that everything we're seeing on the CIA's social media pages where we live and share, and I share fearlessly because I've done so much that it's not like anything I say will surprise them. I don't usually name names because I don't want slanderous events to show up, but as long as you tell the truth, it's not slander. I was very careful today, but I did name names because I think it's time. If we don't wake people up, it's a problem. So here we are. We're focused on this election in America of two things, which I don't even want to say, but it's a great reason to fist fight your family or to drop friends, is this election of him and her, or it and it. I don't even know what they are, but they certainly have created an awful lot of emotional stir to destroy and separate the population. And then the rest of the country is looking at America going, are those people dead? Are they all asleep?
You mean,
rest of the world.
Oh, the world, right.
The rest of the world, like Canada, are you going to let Trump across your border? I don't think so. What's Europe saying? I mean, they're just like, what happened to America and why would they have two people that nobody could possibly really trust running for president? I don't think the election's going to happen because I think that the big change, the big event, call it what you want, the Jubilee, is any minute. I thought it was this weekend. I thought we'd be done with it and I'd be up in my new house funding free energy projects, new dentistry, new medical. I mean, we've got 1,600,000 people around the world that were smart enough to believe what they heard in the last bunch of years, which is American money is fiat currency. The Federal Reserves are being exposed. When they go down, everybody around the world will be forced to move into gold-backed currency, which means real money, gold-backed currency, not printing machine. Let's print up a few more billion. Oh, 6.5 billion went missing. Oh, well, let's print some more. But what we have now, if it's true, is that there was a UN meeting in the last couple days where actually 209 countries agreed to sign the Paris Agreement, which included Nasara.
It included what?
Nasara.
Oh, Nasara, really?
It included, it's Nasara. Now, our country is still, all of our media still has its balls in a cup. So we haven't heard anything, but I don't have TV or magazines or newspapers up here in the woods, but my fox is at the door. So I don't know if they told the world the truth, but I have been watching this for weeks. And it is true. I believe the 209 countries were either forced or chose to come to the table and make an international agreement for peace and for all of us to have gold-backed currency. So all those countries that were destroyed, Vietnam, Zimbabwe, Afghan, Iraq, Iran, I mean, every place that we bombed, what do? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be talking against my lovely country, but we go and we destroy their money system and then we destroy the people. And as long as we destroy the money system first, then they can't fight back because they can't buy more large weapons. But we have such big weapons and all of our money just went missing, billions or trillions, and we go bomb another country. But again, here we are, where everything is coming to the surface to be healed. Everything's being exposed. War crimes, war crime tribunals. But what has to happen now is, again, that balance of power. Perhaps it's about compassion. It's about honesty. It's about honor and integrity. And I love men. Oh, God, do I want to meet a man who can handle a woman who really has contact. So I'm putting that out to your audience. Patty's single. She'd love to meet a man who's also having contact with integrity.
Well, folks, here is, I strong enough to be my man. Isn't that who?
Right. I strong enough to be my man.
Yeah. But in connection, you can go on the internet, and a friend of mine sent us Christmas presents of gold-backed currency, and this is 24 karat gold.
Now that
and see, this is new tech, and this is gold. And now, because of tech, you can have gold. So this is actually gold. It's not gold back. This is gold, 24-hour gold in new tech. It's embedded in a new fluid, which you can put in your wallet. And this is gold. So people can now actually, this is 1/10 of 1 gram of 24 karat gold, and you can get it at peakprosperity.com. So this is 24 karat. So this has market value, so what I'm saying is that, yes, there's a lot of fluidity there. I just wanted to show that particular example of it.
Sure. Well, you're brave to pull out your examples. What I'm talking about is the money from those countries that is, because they were so mishandled, like Zimbabwe, for instance, has bills that are called $100 trillion. One bill is $100 trillion. Today in America, that's worth 0.00001. But after the currency reset, which I do believe is about to happen, it's going to be worth an unfathomable amount. And a lot of very good people bought Zimbabwe banknotes, Zimbabwe Zim. A lot of good people bought dinar, rupiah. We've heard dinar for years because those are the obvious ones that we destroyed recently. Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan. That's our generation where we know that we went and destroy the country, bomb the crap out of them, destroy their economy. On the other hand, that's what our news tells us. What I hear, and you probably too, is that those countries have beautiful abundance in rebuilt cities. They have tremendous advanced technologies probably that we're not hearing about because we keep getting shown men in caves with big beards. And our news is so beyond tainted. It's ridiculous. And I think that it's not that men, women, there is this interesting competitive thing about men, that they really want to be successful. They want to have a Porsche. I had a Porsche for a year and I hated it. I got the big black Porsche Cayenne when I was making the movies, before I got hacked, before I realized that all my income was going to go away because I picked all the wrong people. But I drove this big black Porsche around Denver. And every stoplight, somebody of a different race would say, "Hey, baby, look at," I mean, it was, ugh, I hated it. I felt like I was walking with a target. I got rid of the car and went right back to an older Jeep. I just like being more casual about presenting anything about myself other than the fact that I'm going to be wearing my crop circle pins on PBS and laying down the law about, I think all of us need to come forward and tell the truth. So this exquisite Jubilee has happened once in history. And what Jubilee is about, and again, I'm not an expert, I'm just one of the looking forward to being an experiencer like everybody on the planet is about to be. But here we are, we're focused on all this, I need to make money, I need to get to work, I need to hurry up, I need to not be late, I need to please the boss, and all this crap that's just like this brainwash that TV is feeding us. And all of a sudden, a lot of people are pulling away and saying, no, I don't need that. And the one gift that I got from these chapters of hacking and the distributor zero income for how many years? I got to leave the system. No income tax. Wow. And when they compromised my income, I live in America with Obamacare, so I don't even have to pay health insurance. Not that I'm ever going to a doctor in this paradigm again, or a dentist in this paradigm again. And I hope nobody hits my car because I don't want to be rushed to a hospital because they're doing forced vaccinations while you're unconscious. Please, please, everybody wake up. And what I tell people with the doctors and the dentists, if you have a doctor prescribing vaccines, get a different doctor. If you've got a dentist prescribing silver fillings and he thinks a root canal is a great idea, get a different dentist. It doesn't take a brain surgeon in America, Canada, anywhere in the world to say, I'm not 12 anymore. I've seen the evidence enough to know that vaccines are probably a really bad idea. Silver fillings are probably a really bad idea. Sticking a gun in your head, probably a really bad idea. And so people are starting to get it, that there's something new rising, which is this level of faith in humans. And I don't think it's humans doing it. I think it's the opposite of your AI. I think it's the earth and our consciousness and ETs. And they're sending us these beautiful messages in all these crop circles. And these are a whole bunch of crop circles. I finally made a collection set. Everything I've ever done in one box, half price. I just did it this week. It's called Crop Circle Ecstasy. But in this Celtic knot, it's too reflective, are all these different crop circle messages. And each crop circle does have a purpose. And even if people think, oh, they're all man-made, well, we just learned at the top of this show that even if men make them or women make them, those men and women, some of them had a dream last night like I dream my movies in. Like you get your data. A lot of the human circle making teams are doing it for source. And they can go and drink at the bar and laugh about it, but they're doing it for source, a lot of them. Not all. There's definitely some guys that think they're tricking the world and they got their team Satan and their team whatever and they're going out at night and, you know, doing their crop circles. Well, that's fine. But I was in England one night And I had gone in the circles till 10:30 at night. It stays late, so it's like really hard to go home. I was starving. I'd done 3 crop circles that day. I could hardly walk. My feet were so tired because you have to hike down the hills, and I don't miss an inch. I take it all in. So I was beat to death. 10:30. The only thing open was the Black Horse. So I go into this pub, I ordered some soup, and while I'm sitting there just totally tired, these 3 Brits come in, fat, jolly guys. One guy's covered wet. I might have told this on your previous show, but I have to do it again. These are the human circle makers. So I see these 3 guys come in, and they kick the door open, and they're laughing at their friend that's all wet. And the 3 of them walk up to the bar, and they slam their fist on the bar, and they say, give me a couple. So they each come back to their table with 2 big beers. And in England, it's not a cup, it's a pint. So they each have 2. And where do they sit? Right behind me? And I'm like, oh, no. I'm too tired for these guys that are about to get really loud. So I'm sitting there trying to get my soup down. And in comes the conversation. And all of a sudden, I hear them saying, can you believe that ball of light whizzed past us in the field? And I'm like, yeah. So now I'm like leaned over the restaurant seat, and these 3 guys were a team, and they were in a crop circle at 10 at night making a formation. Ball of light comes shooting through them. One guy wets his pants. The 3 of them scream like girls, and they ran to the car. So that's the wet guy. He covered himself by wetting himself, scared to death because a ball of light, a plasma spinning ball of light, scared the crap out of them. This ball just said, you guys are not the enlightened ones we're working with. Get the frick out of the field. And they ran. So they're drinking and drinking and drinking, and I'm listening like, oh, God, this is so good. This is so good. This is like the war of good and evil. But there was no war. Once they got the pee scared out of them, the guys ran like girls straight to the pub. The second beer starts going down, and I hear one guy say, oh, man, I could swear there was another team in the field. What do you mean? He said, I saw a guy in a coat and a hat, and there was somebody next to him. The second guy goes, crap, I saw them too. And the third guy confirmed, the one that was soaking wet still, they had all seen the shadow people. So here's a crop circle. Human circle makers that didn't have integrity, perhaps. And they got a ball of light and 2 beings that were shadows saying, get the frick out of the field. You are not of integrity. I really believe this is true. I really, really think we're working with very enlightened beings. And because my stuff comes to me so from another place, I don't relate to humans very well at all anymore. That's why I live in the woods. And literally, I do have a fox waiting outside. I don't pet them, but I talk to them a lot. Every house I've lived in the mountains, I've always had a fox. What are foxes? They're the gatekeepers to the ether worlds. I've always had foxes. My first one when I moved to this place in the woods was a black fox. That was the first. And I've had foxes for 40 years. I don't have dogs, I have foxes. Getting to this incredible reset, the Jasara, the Nasara. People have to do the research. I'm not going to explain it, but it's N-A-S-A-R-A. And the global is Jasara, G-E-S-A-R-A. Nasara is national, I believe. Jasara is global. And what this is, Jubilee, it's part of, a piece of it is the currency reset. And the currency reset is going to be like the divine feminine reset, where we've got this male dominance and women in their little tents that they can't come out and show a hand or an eye, or they get stoned in the street. All of a sudden now, oh my God, women are speaking out and they're making movies, and oh my God, we can keep hacking them, but the more we hack them, the lower our frequency goes. We've disappeared into the murk, into the black goo. If you're going to keep acting evil as we shift frequencies, you're going to fall into that black goo that you created. And that's what women are saying straight out. You're wasting your time trying to destroy the earth because the earth is too strong. She is so much stronger than any human evil, and so are ETs. So here's what you're up against, you little evil fools. You've got the earth, a living entity speaking. You've got ETs everywhere. My God, how many people have had sightings? So how long can we fake the funk on that one? No, they're fake, and you people are crazy. You're conspiracy theorists. Well, you know what? You're going to be begging us to help you once the huge disclosure happens and the ETs are everywhere. You're going to be begging us to say, can I have that show again? Because I really want to listen now. You weren't crazy. You were telling the truth. Alfred, give me all those shows again. I mean, you're going to be TV. I'm going to be the new TV. You know, people are going to be, they're not even going to be curious about the history of the world and all those history books. There's going to be new history books written because the truth is so much different than we've been told. The unfortunate thing is this infiltration is paying a lot of very, very gifted people to do unfortunate things and to start murking up their information. But I think the hardest thing is this entity that's bringing people in and then making them sign contracts like I did and then losing their work, losing access to their work. This is very intentional. They're very, very scared. They know who the smart people are, and they're doing everything they can to hide as much work as possible. I was a complete sucker because I was optimistic. And I still choose to be optimistic. I know there's got to be people that can offer financing for me to get my movies out to the world. I mean, when I watch Stephen Greer, same name, Patty Greer, Stephen Greer, massive funding. All he has to do is ask. And all the men just funnel their money into Stephen Greer. And God bless him, he's doing great things. But here I am, I've made 8 movies on my own, paid for them all. And when I ask for funding, it's like, no, you don't want to do it. You're not a woman. Put her in a tent. Come on, take that microphone off her. It's like, hey, I'm not going anywhere. With how much I've been hacked in the last 8 years, especially in the last 6 months, look at this smile. I'm too old to mess with. It doesn't impress me. It just makes me realize how important the work is, and it is so time to tell the truth. So the currency reset is going to give us a whole new 1% group. Rather than the 1% being Soros and Bushes and Clintons and Rumsfeld and dank and dark and dirty, it's going to be conscious people that had the wherewithal to see through all of this corruption and to say, I believe in the world, I believe in Nasara, I believe in Jasara, and I believe in a reset of consciousness, of finances, of government, of education, of every single thing about human life will be changed when you put trillions of dollars into the hands of good people. And their intention is to do nothing but humanitarian projects once they get their life back. And they flood the market with work and money for good intention. That's what the Jubilee is. And I'm a very, very strong part of this shift, the Jubilee, the reset, the Jasara, the Nasara. I have been working with top people. That's why when I say on social media, everything you do is being clocked and documented, every hack, every stupid move. I just keep handing it over with names to the people that are bringing in the new. I don't have fear of people, or I would have stopped making movies after the first hack. I'm up to like 15 hacks, and I just look at them like peons. It's bad behavior of people that don't know better when we've got all this work to do. So it is children that are coming up with some of these plasma frequency, free energy machines, but everything is plasma. And so Crop Circle Diaries, I'm sure, I pray they don't take down PBS. That's the last thing they can do. I did just drop another $1,000, which I haven't made this month, getting Crop Circle Diaries upgraded to being magnificent. But I couldn't get the tracks to PBS. The hacking was so bad yesterday and today. And these beautiful people that did the edit for me got hacked yesterday morning. And 5 projects, all their data disappeared. So these hackers are desperately scared. Unfortunate for them, I think I know who they are, and that's who I've reported. But if it's AI, if it's some machine that just has my name pushed in, screw with her 24/7, well, okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to oversimplify it. What I meant by AI, I'm not familiar with the facts of your case, but it could be a whole spectrum. We know of a whole spectrum that are doing unlawful uh, surveillance and intrusion, ranging from NSA to the U.S. Army in this area, to many of the alphabet black budget agencies that are working with the dark side of the energy. It's kind of it is a Star Wars because it's a continuation of the Orion Wars, of the Lucifer Rebellion. It is all of that, and we're in the final stages of it now, and it's pre-ascension because we're just at the end of the Kali Yuga, and the next step is the Satya Yuga, and that means up to 4 or 5D. And the price.
Exciting.
What?
It's so exciting.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like clockwork. It happens, and it's like it's hard to figure out why anybody wants to be on the non-ascending side. It's like counterintuitive, except there's this, if you get into the footnotes of evil, if you're super evil, if you're a 6th density evil soul, like the super Nazis, they think that there's a sect that by being super evil and doing extra super genocide, you can ascend in the 6th density of super evil, possibly, okay, hypothetically. But I mean, it's like,
But I don't think so.
It's like spinning your wheels. Who knows? But
well, I made a promise on social media that every day they kept their hacking on my Amazon, I would tell one more person at the top of the field who they are and what they're doing. For me, the evidence was when they hit my Vimeo, and it was the same kind of languaging that when I offered them, my distributors, $2,000 to go away, they needed $2,154 and 24 pennies. So when my Vimeo was hit, my $20 rental went to $651 and 34 pennies. It's a signature of a midget mind. And when I went to see who's in charge there, it was the same guy that wrote me those letters at the beginning of my unfortunate connection. For me, it feels pretty physically evident that it's this whatever.
Yeah.
But, they don't matter.
Yeah, and so we call those people AI entrained because they are AI hosts and AI sponsors. That's how AI gets into the human matrix, is through AI sponsors who become entrained to the artificial intelligence. So
well, we're losing a lot of people in the field that are joining the team without realizing what they're doing.
Well, there's that old thing: 2 shall be laboring in a field, 1 shall be taken, 1 shall be left. And that's the old, but that isn't necessarily so.
I think they're gifting us, actually, by showing us who's for sale.
Yeah.
For me, it's an easy read because people have an idea what's going on with some of these organizations. When they choose to step in for money, it makes it really easy. I was never drawn to any of the people that they would choose for my films. Again, I go on frequency. For me, it's not about anybody famous. It's about somebody with a real story. And again, I think it's something that women maybe are more sensitive to. I love men. I don't ever want to say men are any less. It's just the actions of what men have done on the planet as far as leadership is subpar. And because we are so at death's door with the insect kingdom, the wildlife being almost gone, the trees, the oceans, my God, I just got sent a video about what's happening in the coral reefs. They're going gray. I mean, this is just, we're taking it past the point. But the wonderful thing that Penny Kelly says in Circle Diaries is that with plasma frequencies, when we set up the machine, we clean the ocean. She said it'll take about a minute. Well, it'll take us a day to set up the gear, but a minute to clean the ocean. It's a shift of frequency. This is mind-boggling how close we are to perfect earth again, to incredible freedom, to the Jubilee. I'm so excited. You can see my face lights up because I totally believe. It's why this MAGA tree that happened today, that they wouldn't let my new version of Circle Diaries get to PBS. Oh my God. I even sent a banner to my art director back and forth 3 times today, just so I could give Linda Moulton Howe a banner for Circle Diaries. She offered. What a gift. And I've never worked with her. We're just starting to get to know each other, but she offered to promote it on our website. Thank you, Linda. So all 3 of the images that my art director sent me, somebody had messed with the art between her and I. Somebody had messed with the art. And I kept writing her with a screenshot saying, no. It's 2 balls of light and a binary code between them. What's with this ball of light and an orb around it? She said, I didn't do that. So this is today. This is like magatry. Like, get off, you little idiots. We finally did it because I am relentless. Every time they hack my phone, I just hit redial. And all my friends and I just laugh. And then we say to them, join us. Seriously. I don't care what they're paying you. Join us. And because I really do believe in the reset, and because I really do believe that I'm going to be one of the people making a big difference in funding a lot of people, along with a lot of great people that are going to be funding a lot of people, you're on my short list, by the way. You know. Wow. You are.
Thank you.
Your show needs big station. And, again, this is the goal of the reset, is to bring the great researchers, the great shows, and to delete all that BS from the Montauk kids and the poor kids that were put in those, what do you call those underground facilities that they did to all the kids? They screwed up their brains.
DUMBs? Deep underground military bases? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So, when you've got big movie stars now in spirituality that were from Montauk and the DUMBs telling us, here's what's real, you got to look at where they've been, and God bless Corey Good. But I just did an event with Laura Eisenhower, and one of the people in the audience asked all of us on stage, what do you think of him? I don't know him. I haven't studied because I won't look at anything that company puts out. But Laura said that he was at Montauk and he was in the DUMBS facilities. And that's all I need to hear. He's controlled. Poor guy. He's controlled. He's behaving. And I don't know, I'm not watching, but I haven't met anybody that's been in those facilities who's very well. And if you can get somebody who's been controlled and brainwashed starting at a young age, how perfect. So God bless him, and I wish him well. And I worry for Laura, for me, I really want to bring the people that are full of integrity and not controlled and not brainwashed. And this mind control problem is very, very serious. And now I think a lot of the great speakers that were, if they sell out, they're going to be brainwashed. They're going to, like you mentioned, a lot of people are going into a facility thinking, woo, woo, I'm going to be famous. And then they come out and they've got eye problems and headaches. Yeah, shit's going down. Excuse my language, but it's not okay to mess with people's minds. And so when we've got the big famous people that are all controlled, who knows? They might have good Lord. I'm sorry for those people, but I'm not one. And I'm working my tail off. And I've got 8 movies to get out to the world. And I really want people to start supporting my work because I'm not going away and I don't have funding, but I am hanging in like a bulldog because I'm determined. I care about the kids. And in my movie, The Shift Has Hit the Fan. Love that one. Foster Gamble, the Earth Guardian kids, Michael Tellinger, Sasha Stone. All the advancing technology groups, Cyril Effect Generator, the free energy, 3D printers. The shift has hit the fan. Let's see, I think that's what they hacked on Amazon last month. And when I don't even want to talk about it. It's so boring. But the movie is what's great because everything is just me stepping over the pile. I don't care how big the pile. I'm going to step over it because I got to help bring the wildlife back. I got to help our children not be forced vaccinated. And I think that's partly because I'm a woman and a mother and a grandmother.
Yeah, you know, and I actually, you're one of the few people that I know that has broken through to PBS, which is a different positive channel. It's not the controlled CIA channels like History Channel, you know, which will put it in a cookie cutter. PBS, I think, is, you know, there's a real possibility there. So I hope that your film does, you know, that the technical issues and, you know, don't use the U.S. Post Office anymore because they're susceptible of being, they're susceptible of being hacked because you know, the spies are paid by the government and the U.S. Post Office is paid by the government and use private couriers because I guess they, you know, still have to get, I mean, they have more separation from the government than the U.S. Post Office does. I don't know, maybe. We're actually up toward the 2-hour mark, which I think is kind of the magic mark.
But I have to tell you something about PBS.
Yeah, please.
They're flying me and Penny both out to do the show.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So Penny will be with me on the show. That's what's huge.
So let me ask this. Is it your movie that's going to be on PBS or you're going to be live on PBS with your movie? Is that what's happening? Oh, my Lord. When is this happening?
Saturday night. 7 to 9, prime time. Not in Canada.
This Saturday?
This Saturday. Unfortunately, I can't say, as much as I want to promote it, this is the first time I have not promoted my show with you because of the hacking. I was worried that they would take down your system. If I said yesterday or today, I'm going down with Alfred Lambermont Weber today at 3, I was worried they were going to hack your show and this connection. So I didn't even advertise.
No, I'm very happy about this because we're the Seattle PBS channel. You see, we're here in Vancouver, so we listen to the Seattle PBS channel. So this is
it won't be everywhere.
Sorry?
It won't be everywhere. It won't be totally across America. It'll just be certain regions.
Oh, certain regions. Well, it's a breakthrough, and if it plays in one region, maybe it'll get to Seattle, and I'm sure you'll let us know.
Oh, yeah.
And then we can get the word out even more. Actually, I'd like to say that this feels very good to me because I was the producer and host of the Harmonic Convergence show, which I did on PBS out of the PBS affiliate in Boulder, Colorado.
You mean Denver?
No.
Boulder doesn't have.
Oh.
Denver.
Yeah, maybe it was Denver. Yeah, Denver. And we even had Jose Arguelles on there who called in, and we had a very interesting mix of people in October, I think it was, of 1987. And this was when I was a host with WBAI in New York. So I'm glad that now we'll be fellow PBS alumni, you and
Absolutely.
I. We'll be peers.
Well, you know, they showed.
Oh my God, we'll be peers. What?
They showed this movie, Crop Circle Update, The Wake Up Call. They showed this one 35 times in 2014. 35 times this
You
played
mean
on PBS.
that played 35 times? Did you make anything off of it?
I make it once, and because it's a
Yeah.
funding drive for the station, they don't even let me say my website.
Yeah.
And I want to be, but they've done 3 movies, and they did just say to me, "We can't pay you, but we'll run your Women of Today." And I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this.
Oh, well then, you've broken through.
I've broken through.
Yeah, you have broken through. You're way up there. See, you're way up there, and what you're doing is that you're lifting up the covers on one of the new kind of on the new age ghetto and saying, hey, it's time to clean that particular ghetto up.
Yep.
Because you're already in heaven.
Yep. I'm counting on it. Well, Crop Circle Diaries, I'm guessing they will play it a lot of times. And I would love to say what city it's going to be in, where they're flying me in, Penny. But again, with this level of hacking, I'm not giving them any ammunition. I'm just not doing it. I don't want the station to be taken down. And these people have no rules, no pride, no nothing. Yeah. So I do want to promote my website shamelessly. And I do have a donation button. If you've got people out there that actually care about the truth getting out.
Yeah, well, do I have your, today is the International Day of Peace, okay? You're talking to a guy who took PBS and Gospel Radio in 1987, and with $25 rented the PBS transponder to all PBS stations in the US, and through my computer faxed it to all PBS stations, and actually broadcast with Mary Houston, my co-host, the first live radio broadcast in history between the United States and the Soviet Union. We actually deconstructed the Iron Curtain, okay? Now, wow. Do I have your permission to put our program online saying, and this will go up on the International Day of Peace today, September 21st, saying, Patty Greer's Crop Circle Diary is going on PBS. Do I have your permission?
Absolutely.
Okay,
but again, it's only regional. It's only regional. It's only regional. It's not all of them. Yes.
Okay, great.
Millions of people will see it. Okay. And even if it's my $1,000 ago version, because those poor scared boys did everything they could. I actually handed it.
Hey, listen. They have to justify their $3 trillion allocations by beating up on you and me, right?
No, they don't, but they're just bored with fighting with each other, so they're looking for smart people to screw with. But you know, bottom line, the earth is ascending. You have been such a big part of this. And I did say in the beginning of the show, which I want to say again, I heard you tell me that your audience was challenged by Google and whatever because of whatever you said. And the truth is, I have never sold so many full collections to so many countries I've never sold to, other than your first show that I did with you. I mean, in 12 hours, I could hardly sleep. The orders were just banging because your audience trusts you.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, you've got the best audience I've ever spoken to. So I love you guys. Vietnam. I sold movies to countries. Some of them I hadn't even heard of. Yes, I have. But I mean, never sold to. I was really, really impressed with how far your show goes. But it wasn't just people writing me letters or donations or orders. It was people writing me letters that said, I love Alfred.
Oh.
I have him for years. No, I was blown away by the love of your audience because of how you've served them. And that even though you're in this series of all your talks that you need to do now, you listen to your guides, and you wrote me an email one day and you said, my guides are telling me it's time to bring you back on. That was my happy dance day.
Oh, good.
You know, I gotta tell you, being on your show for me is every bit as good as being on PBS. That's how important you are, Alfred Lambert. Yeah.
You know, this kind of reminds me of that movie, The Mouse That Roared. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah. The kitty that looks in the mirror and sees a lion. You still see the kitty. You don't even realize what a lion you are in the world. I do, because I'm like, I have to carry my swords around now with these idiots so scared of my work. But you know, they wouldn't be scared if I was a paid top researcher with my face on every poster. They wouldn't be scared at all. They'd be going, oh good, let's give her a tip and see if she'll lie to another group at another event. I'm not that person. Instead, I'm a girl who's been face down making movies for 10 years. I'm absolutely exhausted. I used to have a beautiful home, all these things. Now I have
okay. Let's switch now to let us manifest support for Patty Greer. Okay, so how can our audience manifest support for you? What can we do for that, for you?
I would like ads in the New York Times, the LA Times, the Washington Post, the Chicago Tribune, major ads in major newspapers that go out to generic people that are clueless. And the ad would say, ready for the truth in ufology? See these films. I've already made the movies. I've already completely paid for them. I got my website, everything working. It's the promotion piece. And when you've got people working against you that you hired to be your promotional piece, and you realize, oops, big mistake, they don't own me. They don't own anything about me. Now it's me moving forward without them. And the only way to do it is with money. And so I wish I was Stephen instead of Patty, because then I'd be loaded and I'd be so promoted. And I'm not. I'm a woman instead who's not going to give up. And I know that your audience has been amazing, supporting my work from your first show. But it's not that I'm asking for anything. I'm saying I've got something really valuable that I want to share with you. The crop circle.
Well, then, where can we go to actually do that?
PattyGreer.net.
PattyGreer.net. Okay. PattyGreer.net. And I must tell you that my watching of Crop Circle Diaries, I was asked, and in fact, I volunteered it to write a review which came from the heart, and that movie transformed me. And I shared that in a review, which I think has had some effect with people. I mean, I saw that, in fact, someone sent me back the review saying, could you comment on this for all these different fields, not only for agriculture, but for futurism, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, so it's a movie that will really open your mind. As I can say that it opened mine, because after all these, I got into this field on January 7th, 1973. It's an exact date that I know. And when I met a professor who was an expert in parapsychology. And so in the past 40 plus years, I'd never gotten a straight story on crop circles until this moment. And it's very important because it's about Mother Earth, and it's about how we interact as consciousnesses with Mother Earth. So I really urge you, this is a film that is an expanding experience in itself. And so I really urge everyone to, as they say, pick up the phone, go to your computer, go to pattygreer.net, and, it's really easy. I'm practicing being your kind of PBS host.
Well, for me to say last movie, because it answered the big questions, is a pretty big statement. For me to put them all in a box for less than half price because I want the information getting out is another big statement. I don't want to keep making movies. I want to get the movies out to the world now. And so I need help distributing. I need help getting the movies out. And it's not a lot to ask. it would be really easy if I was a man, but I'm never going to be a man. Hopefully I'll be with a man someday soon.
Can
Who
I?
also has,
Yeah.
but,
Now,
I love what I do.
right, and may that occur. And let me ask you this, because I'm not familiar. I'm sure that there are honest film distributors, are there?
I haven't met one yet.
Oh.
I haven't talked to a filmmaker yet who said yes. So what we're looking for is new paradigm. It's about new paradigm. It's kind of like looking for a good doctor to give you a flu shot. It's not going to happen. It's like looking for a good doctor.
Oh, it's a contradiction in terms.
You know, can I find a doctor to give my baby a clean triple vaccine at 18 months, the one that gives them autism guaranteed? Probably not, but I'm going to keep looking for a doctor. It's like, no. Now it's about us really taking care of ourselves and not financing those problems. When you know that your dentist still does root canals and mercury fillings, there are organizations, which I'll throw down right now, DAMS, Dental Amalgam Mercury Solutions. There's actually a website that tells you of the dentists that are trained in new paradigm dentistry. International, other countries, because you go out to the world, Alfred, IAOMT. So we don't need to be poisoned by dentists anymore. They've actually retrained dentists to do it right. But unfortunately, because we've still got the organizations, the CDC, the AMA, the FDA, those three, all the health ones are just tainted. They're all over-vaccinated. All those people in the Congress, they're probably just over-vaccinated. They can't help themselves. So you start throwing vaccines, a lot of mercury, a lot of chemtrails, a lot of misinformation. Poor human race. On the other hand, there's the Alfred Show. There's the Patty movies. There's New Earth Nation. There's Thrive. There's free energy. So what we're doing now is, I know every day with every ounce of my being, I'm pushing people to see the Jubilee, to see the reset. And even people that get left out because they didn't believe or trust that they should buy some dong or rupiah or zim, those foreign currencies of countries that America intentionally destroyed, all of a sudden, like that divine feminine, the women are coming back to power. And to balance it out, the men are going to have to sit quiet for the next century. God bless you. And the women are going to be doing the leadership to bring back all the compassion to the planet and work with the mother, work with the earth. Men don't have time. They're too busy with their, going to kill some animals to feed the family. But women, we're sitting here nursing the baby. We're feeding the deer. And this is the kind of treatment that the planet needs now. She can't take any more fracking. She can't take any more wars. And now the ETs are looking down just going, oh my God, are they stupid? Let's pick a different planet. But no, they made an agreement not to give up on us. But I'll tell you, if they didn't make that agreement, they'd be picking another planet. We have sunk. But I see that when Penny Kelly said, with these technologies, we can clean the ocean in 1 minute. Well, actually, it'll take a day to set it up, but a minute to clean the ocean. I'm sorry, all that plastic? How are you going to do that, Penny? Well, she knows some secrets that the rest of us don't. So I did hire a film crew this weekend in the city that we are going to. And I'm telling you so much on your show because you rock, Alfred. I'm naming names today and I'm laying it out because I'm unstoppable. And I know that my funding people are going to show up. Actually, the guy that paid my editors for Circle Diaries and Women of Today heard me on your show.
Oh, well, that's wonderful.
Yeah. He said, he actually called me and he said, hi, do you still need funding? And I was like, excuse me? And he actually said, oh, I heard you on Coast to Coast. That's what it was. And I said, oh, three nights ago? And he goes, no, 2 years with George. And I went, what? And he's a Canadian. And I said, you saw my show 2 years ago and you're calling me now? And he said, yeah. And then I saw you on Alfred Lambert Mount Weber and I knew I had to help you. Do you still need funding? And I'm like, are you kidding? I'm
Oh,
halfway
good.
through this. And, and so he paid my editors for both films. But then when it came to the last payments for me, he disappeared. But what a great man. Oh, my God, did he help these 2 movies. But what I need now is to get the movies out. So if any of the people in your audience work for a newspaper and can give me a pro bono ad that's like huge, that tells all their audience, see this film, we do have hope. We do have hope. We're not a dead planet. We can grow our food. We can clean the oceans. We can clean the air. And again, the coolest thing about this reset, this Nasara, this Jubilee, is that when you get the money to great people and they spread it, it's going to happen so quickly. And the frequency is going to rise because everybody will move back into their heart when they're not in that scared mode of how am I going to make it.
Yeah. And listen, in the spirit of guerrilla media, which we all come from, I mean, that's kind of my school. If the embargo on mentioning the details of the PBS thing lift, send us an email, and Saturday night we can be on our smartphones looking at on Facebook, because we can watch that PBS show on our computers, and we can let everybody on Facebook and Twitter know to go to that PBS station. So
you know what?
What?
It's Denver. It's the one you did.
Oh,
and
my
it's
God.
On drive. So let's just hit it. Let's just not hold anything back.
Okay.
And if these maggots show up, or if they take down the station, we're just going to point. I mean, they're being so watched, it doesn't matter. But the point is, yes, it is Denver PBS. It's CPT12, Colorado Public Television 12. And they are one of the only channels. My God, you did it in the 80s. I'm doing it in 20.
You're doing. Listen, we did the harmonic convergence.
It's the same great channel.
Now you're doing the Ascension.
Yes.
They're all part of one organic wave.
Well, they have no funding. And that's why they do these funding drives. So my Crop Circle movies are a test, but she loves my work, and the whole company loves my work. So every time I call again, all of a sudden, I get 10 days notice and bang, did I show up? I'm like, yes. And the music, oh my God, the new music in Crop Circle Diaries is so good. She wrote me, do you have any music? And I was like, hooked her up with Alejandro Wood. Oh my God, the music is so good in the new version. I need you to stream the new version. It's so much better.
Oh, wild. Well, as soon as we get off, I'm going to start editing this. We're going to have this up. This is going to be all over. This is going to be virally throughout the internet. And this is coming from the harmonic convergence. This is coming from the galactic interdimensional portal into our universe. This is where this is coming from. So I think that.
Yeah. If I've done 8 movies with no research at all, mostly telepathy, mostly dreams, there's some magic going on. I'm not that smart. I'm just willing. And because I was dealing with mercury poisoning, I had left my human life because my bankster had stolen from me my financial advisor. I stepped away from the banks. I mean, I've stepped away from all those systems one by one that are absolutely destroying humanity. And now I realize what a huge gift it was to slowly let go of those pieces, which all people have to do now. It's not time to be scared anymore. It's time to be powerful and empowered. And the only way we can do that is to stop listening to the scare, fear, tactic, false flag crap, and really start focusing on the real data, which is about ascension and about Nasara, Jasara, currency reset, real money, and humanitarian cause. These are going to be the way of the immediate, and the Jubilee is here. Ain't no one gonna stop it. When every country signed that Paris Agreement, and when this very week in New York we had the UN meeting for a couple of days, They were told that if they did not comply, they would be left out. And America was the last one to sign, I believe. We are the stodge in the pot because our corruption, we win. And when it comes to most hacked UFO filmmaker in the world, I win. But I think when it comes to having the most important crop circle movie ever made, the world wins. Because Crop Circle Diary nailed the science thanks to William Levengood and Penny Kelly doing the research. And it would have been suppressed forever because they did quite the number on Levengood. And Penny was so humble and modest, she just went quiet. And Nancy Talbot went with the name, but she didn't tell us anything other than the interesting things that are going on with that lovely man in Holland. Short of that, I don't know if she was privy to Levengood stuff because she was expelled from the lab 17 years ago. So this is such a blessing that Levengood would come from the other side and choose me, the crazy girl who's fearless, who goes in those planes and flies over the crop circles with a big camera and no door on my side, a little teeny seatbelt like a man's belt. And I'm going, what am I doing? Keep filming. And the pilot's like, do you want to do one more loop around the crop circle? And I said, yeah, let's do one more with the still shot. So I got my movie camera under my arm. I get the little camera and he goes, look at me. And I said, why? And he goes, trust me, look at me. So I'm looking at him and I said, okay. And he goes, okay, now you can shoot. So I look back and I'm shooting. And I finally said, why do you always tell me to look at you? And he goes, do you want one more loop? And I said, yeah, give me one more loop because I want a few more shots. So he goes, look at me. And I finally said, why? And I looked down and I mean, the world was right off my shoulder. That plane was so tipped. He was such a good pilot that he cut it really tight instead of going way over there to cut the circle. And that was the last time I ever didn't look at that pilot when he said, look at me with no door on your side, because whoo, that plane was definitely on its side. And I don't know how I didn't fall out except the force field. But I did some absolutely insane things to make these movies. And I don't think I would do it tomorrow. So I'm really, really glad I did it yesterday and the day before. Now it's about promoting and teaching and sharing. And then once Jasara happens, Nasara and the reset, you and I, because you know as much as I do and more, you've been doing it a little longer, but I know more about certain things, more goddess energy and feminine. We're going to be more important than any teacher on earth. The people that are really working the UFO disclosure and telling the truth, and the government release of all employees that are not serving the people, we know more than most. And it's not that we're going to have to tolerate being called conspiracy theorists much longer. I really believe that we are going to be the teachers of the new paradigm because we've been unrelenting, we've stayed with the progress, and we are ascension pioneers.
Amen.
Amen.
Wow.
Ascension pioneers.
Ascension pioneers. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, I just want to say this, okay? I grew up in part of my life in Louisiana, of course, on my father's side, the Weber side, they're from St. James Parish in Louisiana, and I grew up in Napoleonville, Louisiana, which is in Assumption Parish, and right close by us is Ascension Parish. So one of the reasons why they hit Louisiana with the harp storms and the floods over Ascension Parish was so they could have all the news stories and the Illuminati charities could be photographed on the front pages of all the world newspapers, giving charity to Ascension Parish homes. Ascension.
Oh.
There's Assumption Parish and Ascension Parish. To Ascension Parish homes being destroyed, and all the Ascension Parish, such and such Illuminati giving so much funds is on the front pages to refugees from Ascension Parish, thereby covering up the Ascension. So I just wanted to mention that that's part of the what the dark force is doing to cover up Mother Earth's planetary ascension or density shift at this time. I just had to get that in because I'm from Louisiana.
I'm sorry what we did to your state.
There you go.
Because I'm part of the American people, but I am ashamed of what people are doing. And
Well,
I think that
it's not America. It's the Illuminati. It's the Rockefeller, Rothschild, the whoever's controlling HARP, which is an AI, and all the AI profits that are behind all of that. But I thought I would mention it since you used the word ascension, and to give people more context to how the dark force is manipulating ascension in the context of the American fabric, that there's Ascension County, or in Louisiana it's called Parish. So they target Ascension Parish with HARP weather warfare. That's what's going on in the United States of America now. So people have to wake up.
Well, I'm not going to say it out loud, but the people that were hiding my films changed their name to insult women and the earth.
Right.
I don't want to say the word, but to me, it's the same thing as Ascension Parish. To name yourself, to rename yourself because you had to change your name. We won't go into why. To insult women when you treat women like they're treating me. To me, it's just like Ascension Parish,
Right.
It's like flipping the bird to the people and saying, screw you, planet, screw you, women. I'm going to call myself Women and the Planet.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have to be smart.
Right, exactly. I'm sorry to bring in that kind of note. I guess I always do. Is that okay that I bring in that kind of downer note? Because you were on a real up.
But it's not down or up. It's what's going on in the world.
Oh, good. Good.
When people always hit me with, you're so negative. It's like, no, I'm so real.
Yeah.
What's going on now is negative. What I'm talking about is solutions.
Yeah.
And the only way to find solutions is to educate our minds with good data.
Right, right. And I just like to say one more time that for me, Crop Circle Diaries is a mind-expanding, life-changing film. And I urge everyone to go to
pattygreer.net, and you can stream the movies for $5. You can buy the whole collection for $125, and that's 12 items, $10 each for movies that are this good, and soundtracks also, which I won awards for, are in the collection set. But really, it's not that I'm asking for money. I'm asking to help people learn a little bit more of the truth. And when we look at crop circle messages, it's not that they're arbitrary or that people are guessing. For me, I spelled it out in all my movies. In 2009, we had a whole summer of crop circles that were pictures: birds, fish, insects, scarab, dragonfly, octopus, squid, swirling dolphins, hummingbird, thunderbird, rising phoenix. The whole summer was birds, fish, bugs. 6 months, 8 months later, BP oil spill. Killed millions of them, still is today. Turn of this century, 2 binary code crop circles. Why binary code? They spell it out so you can't pretend you misunderstood it. Binary code, this big, huge alien face and the disc. Do you remember that one, of course?
Yes.
The big alien face with the big round disc next to it filled with the binary code. It was right after 9/11. Hello, music lovers. That wasn't a record disc. It was a message from the Earth, from the ETs, and the smart humans on Earth working together to say, beware the bearers. This is the deciphered code message from the alien face in the disc. Beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. Much pain, but still time. Believe there is good out there. We oppose deception. Conduit closing. That's a message. We oppose deception. Well, you know what? So do we. Help us out. Help us out. Drop some crop circles on the White House lawn so that even the people that are demanding, well, tell them to drop the ship, so drop some crop circles down there. Come on, Earth, shoot up a crop circle on the lawn, you know, and let it be a really strong one where the guards are walking the field and they see balls of light. Let them see the shadow people during the day. I mean, I just keep saying, come on, bring it on, bring it in. Let's move this bus. Let's do this. So I'm super excited, and I love you, Alfred, for being one of the highest integrity people in radio. Your audience is so much bigger than you know. And when you invited me on a second show, it was PBS Happy Dance all over again, because I love you. You are doing great work.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, you know, I'm raring to get this up there to let people know the good news. What sort of words of vision would you like to leave us with this time?
What I'd like to say is I just really want everybody to focus their minds on a lot of these messages. And you can go to free websites to look at pictures of crop circles. They might not correlate them and put them together quite like the movies, but people that don't have money can certainly go to cropcircleconnector.com and just look at pictures of the crop circles that came down this summer. And right now, I've never seen such fighting in the field. I've never seen our research center close. I've never seen so many lies in the course of a year about crop circles, but we're just that close to the Jubilee and the Reset and Jasara, which I keep repeating those names because I want to implant positive brainwashing in us to remove the old, scattered, horrific, dark stuff and put in our minds not brainwashing, but washing the brain. Washing the brain with beautiful new information about evolution, because we're here. And those that choose to stay in through third density will stay there. I don't know if they're going to be removed from the earth or fall into a sinkhole, but the rest of us, we're moving. And I don't think it's going to be a painful shift. I think there's going to be this silent reset overnight where the right people are called into the banks, and everything changes within a very short period of time. And all the people that didn't listen, didn't care, are too angry, are all of a sudden going to see all this different energy around them. Why does everybody seem okay now? What is this check that I just got in the mail for all of my income tax I've paid for the last 40 years? I'm getting a refund? What do you mean the IRS is closed? What do you mean fiat currency? And everybody's going to do what you and I did 20 and 30 years ago. Some people 10 years. They're going to hit their head on the wall until they finally get it. Oh my God, those people weren't crazy. Those people weren't lying. I sure wish I had listened. But the cool thing is you can start listening today. So my message to the world is start listening today. Raise your frequency on the data that you're bringing into your world. Really, really do your best. If you run a pendulum, if you run dowsing rods, douse your data, because you're being lied to through your teeth, and most of the really, really famous people probably shouldn't be. So that's why Women of Today was so exciting, because there's 33 women doing incredible things, and only Laura Eisenhower is famous. Not the NASA lady that's doing the shuttles going to Mars, not the woman that's delivering babies naturally by the dozens by the week, and not doing all those medical procedures to poison the kid, to spank the kid. You know, these are things that just we've been taught wrong. But this Jubilee is about teaching us to do right by each other, for each other, and with each other. And this kind of talk is why women are going to be leading the world. I mean, with what I've been through today, yesterday, that I'm this full of love today, I'm like, what's wrong with me? How can I be this happy? Well, other than I'm going on PBS Saturday and I'm on your show, but it's really because I feel blessed to know this stuff. Don't you? Your audience does.
I am, I have been liberated since you brought me and our audience through the journey of Crop Circle's diary, and I understand what's going on now with Mother Earth. It's a true liberation.
It is.
That is my testimony.
And to start working with her and them with these frequencies, to re-engineer these frequencies for the good of people, everything changes.
Right. Amen.
Amen.
Thank
Love
you.
you, world. PattyGreer.net. Come visit.
Well, thank you so much. And hopefully we will be seeing you Saturday night.
Yes, now that I've told you it's Denver, and we do want to support PBS.
Yes.
Denver. The affiliate is Channel Colorado Public Television 12. It's really a drag. I dropped $1,000 this week, and that the hackers made sure I couldn't get the new updated. But you know what? The other one's just fine. It's the story. It's the data. It's just not colored as well, but I can handle that.
Thank you so much for elevating us once again with the now.
Thank you. And I will send you a link to PBS, and I'll send you links to my website and everything too.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you all.